Live from Lead Feather Studios, it's the most controversial film podcast on the air. I don't give a flick.
For me, it's ideal because, I don't have...
You guys don't have kids.
Kids, exactly. I was like, I don't have kids or a wife, so the fuck am I doing with my life? Living it. That's what I'm doing.
What are you doing?
Being awesome. That's what I'm doing.
Totally.
Oh my God.
Yeah, good job, Johnny.
Oh, for God's sake. Hey, everybody. Welcome to another episode of I Don't Give a Flick. In fact, the start of season 3. We are at the beginning of 2022, hoping that it's a much better year than the last 2 years for sure. I'm your host, Johnny Blackburn. Alongside me this week, as he unfortunately is every week, I've got my co-host,
Gary Elmore.
You did not need to introduce yourself like that.
Everybody
would have been a hell of a lot better had you not done that.
No. This is 2022, Johnny. You got to kick it up a notch. This is season 3. People expect more of the show.
Neil Riley is off this week, and he will be, we send our regards to him. I know he's going through nothing. I just think he's working late. So I hope he's doing good. Hope he's enjoying work,
I'm sure
working stiff. Not. Probably not. No, I highly doubt it. We are very privileged and honored. I don't know what would be better, privileged or honored. God, I have ADD. I need to really get on some medication. We'll also be privileged for the evening. We're privileged to have with us 2 wonderful Texas-based actresses, and we'll introduce our first-timer, newcomer to the show. We've got Kaci Beeler joining us. Kaci, thanks so much for joining us this week.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Absolutely,
I'm excited
absolutely.
to be here and honored and pleasured.
Okay, we'll go with that. That's good.
Love it. I'm not even going to say love it. Awesome. Signed, sealed, delivered. And also welcoming back a returning contributor to the podcast, Miss Kim Watson. Kim, thank you so much for being here.
Aw, thanks for having me back. I'm excited.
And we are excited to have you as well. This week's topic to start off 2022 and season 3 of I Don't Give a Flick, we are going to, believe me, people, we have heard your cries, your pleads, your demands. You want us to have a follow-up to the greatest actors of all time. Gary and Neil have been prepping for this, and we've just been, digging into the deepest parts of our brains to come up with the best list we can. We've got the greatest actresses of all time coming up on tonight's episode. It is very fitting that we have 2 such talented actresses like Kaci and Kim joining us tonight. So it should be some pretty spirited debates for sure. So excited to jump in, but really quick, we want to go ahead and most of our listeners, Kaci, this is your first time, so most of our listeners are probably not familiar with you, or they might be. I have no idea. I don't know every one of our listeners. There's a ton.
Some guy in Taiwan.
My mom. Gary's great uncle.
Yeah, I mean, I'd hope you know your mom, but
yeah, no, I do.
Okay.
Neil's extended family, and I don't know any of them, so I don't really want to. Though he doesn't really have the greatest stories about him. But that's personal stuff. We're not gonna get that on this episode.
They're pretty good stories.
They are pretty good stories, actually. Maybe I'm thinking of my extended family. Fuck. Oh well. So let's jump in. Kaci, why don't you give our listeners a little background on yourself, kind of how you got into the industry, some accolades maybe you've had in the past, roles you've had that you'd like to hang your hat on. What's up? Tell us about you.
Okay. Yes, my name's Kaci Beeler. So I do a lot of different creative work. I'd say I'm most known for my work in the international improv world, as well as the Austin theater commercial film scene. So I've been doing improv for about 20 years now.
Wow.
I've toured to over 65 cities and 8 countries to perform and teach improvised theater. So and I usually perform on a weekly basis here in Austin and then tour several times a year.
Okay.
That's been on pause, but that's really fun. I do a lot of improvised plays, play style improv, narrative stuff. I co-authored a book on narrative improv called Do It Now alongside my improv company. And yeah, so doing improv, it was like theater in high school. And I guess I started when I was like 13, 14 doing improv and theater. And that led into me getting my agent. My agent actually saw me do improv on stage in LA. I was like 20 years old, 19, 20.
Okay.
And just wanted to book me on the spot. And I was like, is this a joke? I was like, is this a scam? And they're like, no, it's not. I looked them up. I was like, oh, this is legit. Okay. And I kind of thought like, oh, I want to do more film. I had done a few small things, but I was in college. I have an art degree. I'm also a painter. And so it was kind of nice to sort of push me in the deep end immediately. Started auditioning.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, because it's like tricky when you're an actor, you have to just drop everything to audition.
Mhm.
When you're in college, you have to be present in class to pass the course. So there's like this weird thing of like kind of doing the acting stuff, also still, wanting to get my 4.0 summa cum laude degree. And yeah. And then when I graduated years ago, 2009. Then I was able to jump in, and I've been sort of more or less a freelancer working with different companies. So I've been able to do the acting stuff more or less full time. And then, I've gotten some Austin Chronicle Best Actor Actress awards, which those are hard to get.
Awesome. Yeah.
So that was so exciting.
So let me ask you, what if you could, what would be your dream role, like of any movie or play or anything? Like if you could be cast in one thing tomorrow, what would you want it to be?
This is such a good question. Okay,
thank you.
A good friend of mine, Lee Patterson, is an improviser, and she's in this show on HBO called The Righteous Gemstones.
Yeah.
Oh,
I don't know if y'all have seen it.
Mhm.
Sure.
She plays the sister. And watching her in that, I was like, I want this. I want to play a ridiculous weirdo. Probably not the same flavor of weirdo as her, but we're both from Texas, so who knows? But on like a major streaming series, a major funded series like that.
Oh,
and also
okay.
she did a lot of writing on it, so I would love to have a large amount of say in the piece.
Okay.
Again,
So
get to improvise on, she also improvised many times on set and stuff. So watching that, I was like, yep, I would love to do that. Love that.
Okay. So ridiculous weirdo freak. Gotcha.
Yeah. Oh yeah, please. And then How I Met Johnny actually was, I did a Domino's commercial that filmed in May of 2021. And then it's been playing nonstop
everywhere. Oh,
for like
everywhere.
the last 5
That's
months.
so awesome.
It is awesome. But you guys know that I just finished up my trip around the country for like 6 months. I was gone. I just did a lap, and I probably messaged you, Kaci. It was like probably 2 or 3 times every time that I saw that fucking commercial. And I'm talking like I saw it in New York, I saw it in Illinois, saw it in Colorado, saw it in California. It's everywhere. So I mean, it was a big deal, man. It was actually a fairly fun commercial to work on. Maybe it was just, I mean, most of the time we were just hanging out in the car. So that was still cool. But it was certainly interesting. And I know that, so I know you had talked about also, you had a minor speaking role in The Leftovers. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. If memory serves me correct.
Cool.
Yeah. In The Leftovers. I also got to do this HBO Westworld experience.
The South by Southwest one?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I was in that. That was
That's
amazing.
cool.
There's one private performance for Elon Musk and his children, and his son asked me, where can I get a gun?
Oh.
And I was like, you can't. You can't get a gun.
You're way too young.
And he just stomped off.
So wait, I'm sorry. So when did you met Elon Musk's kids at the experience, Or
Yeah, they basically had us come an hour or two early one of the days, and they had us do it's like a full like show that runs on clockwork, and it's sort of it's interactive.
okay.
And they just had like a bunch of celebrities show up so they can wander around by themselves, unbothered by the public, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let me ask you, because I'm curious. So doing a commercial for like Domino's, without giving like a dollar amount, is that like something that like one of those is enough to kind of live on for a while, or do you need to like kind of do supplementary things?
It would be if it was union.
Yep.
Mhm.
So that was non-union.
Damn crooks.
But here's the cool thing about it is that they also had me come in and audition to do the voice of the commercial. And so I did all the voiceover for that and all these like radio ads and spots. So that actually helped
That's
a lot.
so meta.
Yeah.
Delivery driver and
Yeah, Gary.
voiceover driver. Oh my god.
The
And
voiceover
then
driver.
Yeah. And then I've been going in and recording more and more voiceover for them for like months now. So I've been doing a ton of work for them. So that was cool. That was unexpected. You just think a lot of those things you just show up. I guess lately, every time I've done a commercial for somebody, they usually will have me come back and do more, which has been a good sign in my career. Because one of my goals was like, oh, I'd love to be a spokesperson for it. This is so weird, but I really did think like with my improv experience, and like I don't know, like easy flow state way of being. I was like, I'd love to do like some major, national brand work. I think it'd be really
Okay.
fun, and it could be really lucrative.
Yeah,
I'd be well suited for it.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
Pretty good living.
So yeah, that's sort of happening in a lot of ways, and so that's awesome. And so yeah, I mean, if things keep going the way they're going, then I'll just be full time doing it wouldn't be full time work, but it would be more than full time pay. So dreams coming true. Yeah.
Okay. Glad to hear
Fingers crossed.
Yeah, fingers crossed.
Absolutely. Well, thanks. We're excited to have you on tonight. I'm excited to jump into these debates. But really quick, Kim, I know that our listeners are more familiar with you, but it's been about 6 months since we had you on last. So what have you been up to? What news going on?
I have been really busy with my art business, actually. So I've been in class and I've been auditioning and, trying to study film, reading different books and stuff right now on acting techniques and blah, blah, blah. But the last 3 months, I've been buckled down with holiday orders. They had to get out, before the holidays. And it's just been absurd and crazy and busy. And so I'm really happy to have.
You're an artist too?
Yeah, I'm an artist. Yeah, when you said, I was like, that's so hilarious. So yeah, I paint watercolor home portraits, custom pet portraits, custom family portraits. But my most favorite thing to paint probably would be humongous abstract expressionistic pieces with watered down acrylic. It's my favorite thing to do. Yeah.
Do you ever use acrylic gouache?
I do like gouache. I like it. I'm not very good at gouache right now. I kind of get defeated. It's weird how watercolor is so easy for me, but then I try gouache and I'm like, what the heck? So I need to practice, maybe take some or pull up some YouTube videos or something. But I'm sure if I were to practice, I'd get the hang of it. But no, is that what you use, gouache?
Use a lot. There's this one a newer medium called acrylic gouache, which is a mix of acrylic and gouache, and it's so fantastic. I also do a ton of commissions. I have a huge stack right now.
Me too. I got orders.
Some houses, and pets sometimes, but I also paint a lot of food.
What? We're doing the same thing.
Yeah,
That's so funny.
So you're rivals, basically.
Okay.
No.
I see how it is.
Uh-oh. And the plot thickens.
I always say there's room for everybody, no matter. I don't know. There's just there's unlimited homes and pets, and my aunt's an artist too, and she's like, I'm gonna move to Phoenix and start doing homes, and she says it with this strange twinkle in her eye, and I'm always like, you should definitely do that. Like, why do you say it as if it's gonna bother me? But like, do you know how many homes are like all over the planet? Like, go for it, girl. So the more the merrier.
Exactly. Yes. There's no
enough.
finite
Yes.
amount of success. Like success
There's
is
enough,
not finite.
right? There's enough for everyone, whether you're an actor, whether you're a writer, a painter, whatever you want to be. There's enough. So
yeah, there's certainly enough to go around. Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's dive into this. So really quick before we jump in completely, I want to pose a question to the two of you. Do you find yourselves preferring to act in film, TV, theater, improv, whatever?
I know the answer to this for me.
Okay,
Film.
Kim, go ahead. Film.
Hands down, film. Yeah.
Okay. Why is that?
I don't know. There's something very realistic to it. So if you can, muster up some real emotions that can connect to somebody through film, I feel like it feels very real to the viewer. And I don't know. It's for me. I feel moved easily by film and stories with film. But it's not that I don't like theater. I like theater, and I like improv, and I like comedy, and I like all that stuff. But anyway, that's me.
Okay, but film for you. Cool. All right. Kaci, how about you?
Oh man, it's so dependent on the people that you're working with that makes the experience. Because I've done film that was a nightmare and I've done film that was like a dream. And same with theater and improv. I think for me, I like to cycle around all of it. If I'm only doing stuff on camera, I feel so disconnected.
Right.
But if I'm only doing stuff on stage, it just feels like I don't want everything to be an ephemeral puff of smoke,
Right.
And that's what doing stage work feels like. So, I guess it's gonna be an interesting episode. It's hard to pick favorites. Favorites.
It's difficult.
Really hard.
People tell you come up with your, if they walk up and say, give me your top 5 favorite sitcoms of all time or bands.
Wow.
Yeah, it's hard. Maybe you might have one
Really
or two, but you name all 5. Yeah, exactly. And then later on, you'll forget. And we do a lot of, I would say, at least over the season 2, I would say half our episodes were top 5.
Season 2 is a real failure.
Whatever.
I'm glad we're moving on.
We hit our stride, man. We hit our fucking stride, Elmore. Get the hell out of here. All right, let's jump in.
What are we talking about today?
We have a lot of, I don't know, some parenting or something, or art. Parenting. That's what we're talking about. I don't know. We're talking about my something. We've all got ADD here. That's fine. Makes life more interesting.
I actually do. So
I probably do too. To be honest with you.
Same here. We all had to take medication at one point, right? So this is gonna be fun / hopefully we're not pulling our hair out and going bald by the end of it, or traumatized. Hopefully not traumatized by this episode. Gary and I did Greatest Actors of All Time as our second or third episode a couple years ago when we first started, and just the two of us, it took us 2 hours. But then again, we had a different format than what we're going off right now. So jumping in, the makings of a great actress. Let's preface the topic tonight by just talking a little bit about what we look for or how we view the greatest actresses to be and what makes them so amazing. What are we looking for in a great actress here? Are we looking for their presence? Are we looking for the charisma that they have, the longevity of their career? What makes the great ones so great? So Gary, I'm going to start out with you since we were just talking about this earlier. What do you personally look for? Let's try to keep it to 1 or 2 examples so we don't steal other people's.
Okay, well, just for me, for a great actress, they need, kind of like we talked about with the great actor, they need to have, the look.
Okay.
And it doesn't necessarily need to be a sexy thing, but they need to have a look about them that is unique and interesting. So, Meg Ryan, for instance, I don't think she's going to be on anyone's best list. So
she's on mine.
Okay, I do like Meg Ryan.
She's on mine. She's not on the top 10, but she's sorry. Go ahead.
Okay. All right. Honorable mention. Cool.
Meg Ryan, her shtick is kind of she's fun, she's happy, she's cute.
Okay.
She's the girl next door kind of thing. I think was one of her monikers in the '90s. So that was kind of like where she fit in. And that's an important aspect to have as an actor to kind of see that for yourself. So I would say look is very important.
Okay, the aesthetic of the person, it has to be it has to be a unique thing. There's not really a rhyme or reason to what the person has to look like, but it has to be different from the herd.
Yeah, and even more than just aesthetic, like the overall charisma of the person, like, how are they like Kathy Bates, like she's got a wonderful charisma about her, like in Misery, she's like she just had a lot of fun with that. Well, I guess she did not have a lot of fun with that part.
Yeah, she had to have counseling for like years after the movie ended.
It was terribly traumatic for her. So, but like, I had a lot of fun watching it, and so that's a great movie. That's the charisma to me.
Okay, all right, Kaci, how about you?
Okay, I was thinking a lot about this earlier, and definitely playfulness, like a playful. You were even talking just then about Kathy Bates having some sort of like mischief.
Mm-hmm.
I think you can feel it when an actor is having a blast, whether they're playing a villain, ingenue, a weirdo, whatever they're doing. I think if there's some element of like deep joy, I can feel it, and that's huge for me. If I don't feel that from an actor, it doesn't matter how many times they're in the marquee. I don't care.
Exactly. How are you supposed to get into it as the audience if they're not into it?
Yeah. So I feel like that's something. True. And versatility is my other one.
Yeah.
I mean, it's hard. I just I love versatility. I challenge myself with versatility on stage, especially. There's just like a lot of room for being more versatile, and it's hard not to want that. I don't think that's the be all end all, but if somebody's super versatile and you almost don't recognize them from one film to the next, that's pretty amazing, right?
Yeah,
it's good.
That's key. Yeah, that's like that's basically what all actors strive to do for the most part, right? Like you want to be able to transform into somebody else, I mean, in my mind. So I agree with what you said. I don't know.
I think there's plenty of actors that don't really care about trying to be somebody new. I mean, Jonny and I were talking about like Jason Statham from what was that last movie we saw with him?
The Wrath of Man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
well, I would say you don't have to be, but then you're not great,
yes,
you're good.
That's what makes them stand out, and they're great because they're able to transform into a different person, So
Right. Yeah, I mean, if you're a chameleon and people can't recognize you, then typically that means that more roles are going to open up. I feel like sometimes though it's hard to do that because some of those people don't. I feel like a lot of those people actually don't get recognized a lot. You look at somebody, two people in particular.
Yeah,
you look at
right.
Tilda Swinton and Gary Oldman. Neither of them really got recognition until later in their careers, and they had been putting up tremendous performances for decades,
for a long time.
Prior to any nominations they ever received, whether it be BAFTA or Screen Actors or an Oscar, whatever. So yeah, I don't know. I think that depends, but I would certainly agree with the versatility. Kim, what about you? What kind of falls into your list of?
Well, I agree with Kelsey. But
Kaci.
I'm so sorry, Kaci. With Kaci, but also like some sort of like great confidence. There's just something about like owning the space.
Yes.
I think that's what it is. It's like it's a presence, and it's like owning this space, and you can always I'm always drawn to actors that are doing that, and you can be vulnerable and owning a space, and you can be, you can do all of these like different performances and doing that, but there's just something about it. It's like a magnetism or something. But yeah, that's, I guess that was
like
really...
when they pop up on screen and you're just like so drawn in.
Yeah, exactly.
They're just holding everybody's held in the palm of their hand.
Yeah.
So amazing.
They have an allure to them, I suppose.
Absolutely. Yeah. Oh yeah. It's funny you mentioned that. I was actually just reading an article the other day on Maggie Smith, and they were talking about how all of her scenes in Harry Potter, when they were doing the screen testing with audiences before it actually came out, apparently most people, with the exception of Alan Rickman, everybody was waiting for the scenes that Professor McGonagall would pop up in. And just because she, regardless of her being a supporting role, she's just always stealing the show because she has, what you're talking about. She comes in with that aura.
She totally did. You're right. You're so right.
God, it's just crazy. And for me, that actually leads into my biggest thing, which is longevity, which it brings in a lot of the components you guys are all talking about, especially versatility. And Gary, that I've talked about this on other episodes, in particular with guys like Dan Aykroyd, where they had their heyday for about, because most actors, the majority of them, they get about maybe 5 to 10 years, like not like the greatest of all time. We're not talking like, I wouldn't consider Adam Sandler one of the greatest of all time, but the guy's had 3 decades of being at the top of his game. Leonardo DiCaprio.
Do we have to go through all of his
Meryl
movies
Streep?
again?
No, we're not going to go through all his movies again. God, that was a long episode. But the fact that some people, once their heyday and their leading, like their leading man or woman days have gone past them, like those best days are behind them, they find ways to acclimate themselves to the changing times, and they find new roles to keep themselves within the media, like a fresh eye. I mean, hell, Betty White was doing it for 70 years, before she unfortunately passed away just the other day. People like that. I wouldn't put Betty White in my top 10, but we talk about the most beloved icons of all time. She's going to fall into my list, absolutely. But the people, and I bring up Dan Aykroyd, but you look at Meryl Streep's been doing that for years and years. Katharine Hepburn, and I don't want to go over
Nicolas Cage. He's just in a movie about himself right now.
Hey, well, technically, yeah, Nicolas Cage would fall into that.
It's crazy.
It's nuts.
For like 30 years.
I mean, have you seen Color Out of Space, Mandy, Wally's Wonderland or Willy's Wonderland? All of these crazy, obscure pieces that he's putting out now. He realizes that he can no longer bring in as much money as the lead of an action film like he used to be able to. And so now he's getting into these really low budget indies and taking a chunk of how much they make on the back end.
When his new movie grosses $1 billion, Johnny, you're going to have to eat your words. I'm just saying.
Kaci, go ahead.
I feel like I was thinking about Daniel Radcliffe and like what badass he's become.
Oh, he is. Yeah.
He really has
the strangest films.
I love it.
He's lovely in interviews. He's so nice and he's so gracious. And he could have such a huge ego. He could be such a shit. He's not.
No, he's not. You're right, man. I mean, he just from Horns to Swiss Army Man, just these really.
Oh my gosh, both. I like both of his films.
They're so good. And just these insane roles. You wouldn't expect the kid who played Harry Potter for his entire childhood and adolescent eras to actually come in and do something like this. It's a nice change of pace. It's refreshing, actually.
It's like it makes you go, oh, I'm actually interested to watch what he does with his career. Going forward, who knows what will happen with it? Yeah,
it's almost like it's going to make him a bankable A-lister at some point just by putting his name at the top of that movie poster, just being Daniel Radcliffe in blah blah blah. I don't know if he's quite there yet, but yeah, I mean he might be coming up here pretty soon. I mean he's our age. I mean he's
we already covered the demise of the Hollywood A-lister, so
we did, we did, Gary. Very true.
Keep up, Johnny.
So are the great ones only in one genre of media? And I'll clarify a little bit of this. Can we have actresses who were great in just theater or primarily theater or just Broadway or just TV? Can we put them on the same level as our top 5, like people who have, a slew of Oscars kind of thing? Is that possible? Can they cross between? I mean, the reason I ask, I was looking at a while back, I was going through it, rewatching Seinfeld, and Julia Louis-Dreyfus was on there, and we'd look at the accolades that she received, but only from Emmys and only from television. That's primarily what she did. She did a couple movies, of course, but she was known for Seinfeld, New Adventures of Old Christine, Veep, all of these old ones. And if you asked me, I would say greatest comedic actress of all time, definitely has a very good case to make for herself. I would be hard pressed to debate on the other end of that. So that's the question out to you guys. Kim, I guess I'll throw this to you to start out. Do you think that actresses from other outlets of media outside of film can be considered on the list for greatest of all time?
Sure, I don't see why not. Julia Louis-Dreyfus was on my list, actually.
Well,
yeah.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to take your pick. Oh, damn it.
Damn it,
No, it's all good. I actually wrote out 34 actresses, so I went a little overboard. But yeah, she was on there because I love her. But I don't see why not. Like, I mean, they're acting. You could,
sure.
But I don't really know. This is embarrassing, I guess. But I don't really know too many like big names with Broadway currently myself. So
yeah, and I mean most of them had experience and success in other forms of media outside of Broadway, or other forms of performance art.
Currently, there is no Broadway, so
okay. Well, before it was, Gary. Yeah. So yeah, I mean it really just. Hey, I think you're right. It kind of just depends on who they're going up against. But Kaci, go ahead. What about you? What do you think?
Yeah, well, I definitely think theater's in the mix, but it's hard to judge since I mean, how often do large scores of people get to like go to the theater and all see the same cast in the same show? Like I was in New York in November and I saw Aaron Sorkin's To Kill a Mockingbird on Broadway. So amazing. And Jeff Daniels was playing Atticus. Awesome. It was incredible. I mean, it was incredible. And it was like seeing a different dimension of an actor to see them in like a 3-hour-long play as opposed to, 2-hour film. It was so different. And he was, I mean, there wasn't, the lead female wasn't, I think, somebody who's big in the film world. So I can't make a judgment on that. But I have met people, actually the episode of The Leftovers that I did, Eddie Buckley was in the scene that I was in, and she is apparently a Broadway legend. She also is known for playing the gym teacher in Carrie.
Oh, okay.
The horror film. Yeah. It was really interesting because I knew that she had to be somewhat important because she had an assistant on set that she was kind of ordering around, and she was really nice, but she had a little bit of a like air about her of like, I'm important. And I was like, who is this person? I like look up the call sheet, Google her, on my phone off to the side. And I'm like, oh my God, she was like a Broadway legend that like led all these big shows for years, a lot of musicals. And it was just interesting to be like, oh, now we're on this like HBO set. And I don't think everybody there knows that about her. Some people would. Just made me think about how interesting it is,
Yeah, absolutely.
The theater world versus the TV world versus the film world. But I do think TV and film is merging, so that distinction is fading. And I wanted to share this quote. Did you ever? There was one year where Tina Fey and Amy Poehler hosted the Golden Globes.
Yeah,
and at the top of the award show, they said, only at the Golden Globes do the beautiful people of film rub shoulders with the rat-faced people in television. And it was so great because the camera's like panning between all these different celebrities, and they're all cracking up. Gosh. All the TV people, who are in, various TV comedies and stuff are kind of looking around like, oh, that's me. I'm a rat face person. But I was just thinking like that was still several years ago. And now I think, heading up a major streaming series is probably as big or sometimes bigger than starring in a major film. So
yeah, like Game of Thrones is a great example. It's like, basically, each episode was a film,
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, when they're spending a couple million per episode, it's insane to where we've come in the last decade. Honestly, I mean, you could make an argument with the Sopranos popping up at the beginning of the 2000s, but really over the last 10 years in particular, just with the streaming services and AMC and Showtime and HBO just getting after it. A lot of people there. In fact, we had an episode on greatest directors, and we talked about, I think it was Steven Soderbergh had said he was officially retiring from film because he felt like now TV shows were where the money was, but he felt that TV shows had the most creative and artistic flexibility compared to film, because all the we look at it in today's day and age, all of these big film companies, there's so many remakes, there's so many prequels and sequels coming out, and rebooting franchises and stuff, and there's not as many original scripts anymore.
No.
And so it just feels like the film companies are just playing it safe.
And think about, like, as an actor, opportunity to play a character over a 10 or 16 season arc, multiple seasons, versus 1, 2, maybe 3 films. If you're really lucky.
Yeah, if you're lucky.
I don't know why.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's very rare.
Yeah.
And then like what are you able to do in those films, depending.
Yeah.
That just made me realize, like, oh yeah, Timothée Chalamet is pretty much just doing film, right? Like,
I haven't seen him in any TV.
Yeah, if you think about TV, you're like, oh. So there are still some actors and actresses, probably. Scarlett Johansson not really doing TV.
Yeah,
I don't think so.
But also, like, I'd love to see something more fun from her. So, is it going to happen in film?
Yeah. If I could see like a Jojo Rabbit style themed TV show or something, like where she plays a very lighthearted yet deep character. Yeah, I would totally. I would watch the hell out of that. Oh my god, if Daniel Day-Lewis jumped on a series, I don't even care if it's a limited series.
Oh my god,
I would absolutely never do that.
I know he wouldn't, but I don't know. I don't know about that, Gary. Yeah, maybe I would have agreed with you 5 years ago, but now you've seen all the stuff coming out. You've seen a lot of these shows have the same production value, and honestly, the scripts are stronger than most of the movies coming out. So
I would agree to that.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know. But it also leads to the counter argument of, we talk about it takes a lot of skill to play somebody and their character arc for 10 years. Obviously, that takes a tremendous amount of dedication and determination. But looking at actors who are in films, they only have 2 hours to convince us that they are this person in a span of 20 years or in a span of 5 days. And they have to go through all this person's emotions from one lifetime in 120 minutes. So I think that in itself is something we should definitely praise.
True.
Gary, what about you? What do you think? Same question. Are the great ones only in film, or are there great ones to come out of TV or even theater too?
No, I mean, I would say that all three mediums have, their great ones as well. I think the golden era of the silver screen is probably past, and now that's kind of moved to the streaming services where you're going to have like the great actresses. You look at like Robin Wright from House of Cards, and a limited series like that's not spanning 15 or 20 years, where they get the chance to do that. And then you've got stage actresses like Bernadette Peters or Kristen Chenoweth or Idina Menzel that maybe transition to movies from Idina
Broadway,
Menzel, or TV shows like The West Wing with Kristen Chenoweth. So, I mean, I think there's probably the most right now. I think the hottest place to be is probably a TV show, a streaming TV show, because as you said, they're the most creative. They've got enough money behind each episode to make it not look cheap. And that's where the best content right now is being made.
Right. So back to this is a good segue into the next topic. What era or decade or couple decades, fine, was the strongest for actresses? Basically what era were we seeing the strongest performances come out or had the largest surplus of talent collectively at one time? So Gary, since you were just talking about the silver screen, I have a general idea of where you're going to go. But what era do you think was strongest for the actress community?
Well, yeah, I mean, definitely for movies, the strongest time for actresses, I think, was definitely, in the golden age of Hollywood. I think that there are some very good actresses now, but I think that with the way movies are done, frequently they don't really get as many chances to shine now as maybe they to work their acting chops as they used to. Like, because I was watching Margot Robbie, I, Tonya. And I didn't recognize her in that, and I was like, "Oh, this lady's a really good actress. I'm enjoying watching this."
She's amazing in that.
Yeah. And then I was like, "Oh, it's Margot Robbie." And then because I think she gets typecast as like the hot chick a lot, and so that kind of sometimes brings down some of the options she has. I mean, I thought she. In Wolf of Wall Street, she was like his wife, right? That was Margot Robbie.
Yeah, that was Margot Robbie.
Yeah.
Okay. But if you look back at the golden era of Hollywood, you had Katharine Hepburn and Betty Davis, and it just a very Vivian Leigh, a lot of really interesting stories that happened. So my favorite time for movies was definitely the bygone era, but I think today for TV is the best place to be. That's where you're seeing the explosion of talent. And I think TV for a long time, like Lucille Ball in the 50s.
Yes.
Yeah.
On my list.
I mean, that's one of the most talented people I've ever seen. Not that I ever met her, but I saw her on the TV, so that counts, right? So I think it's kind of shifted to television and streaming.
Okay, Kaci, how about you?
Oh my gosh, I am so in agreement in a lot of ways, though I think about it slightly differently. But I do think that female actresses were sort of queens of the golden age of cinema, 30s, 50s, 40s. I think I don't think it was a matter of there was just more talented women then, but more the focus was they believed that there could be a great leading lady for a film and it would bring in an audience.
Right.
I've been so disappointed in recent years when we've been sort of lied to because there's this belief, you've heard it, where they're like, oh, we don't think that female talent can anchor the film. I was really disappointed in Wonder Woman. Gal Gadot had to share the spotlight with Chris Pine.
Sure.
I was like, what the heck is he doing here? I didn't pay for this. I didn't pay to see him. She was pretty damn epic, and had a lot of gravitas, and I was just like, I want to see her do more. I want to see what else she can do. I don't care about this. I don't know why is this happening? I was so disappointed. And I think that was a studio decision. So then I was starting to think, along the same lines as you, Gary, about I do think now, I mean, we have to also, I feel like I should mention issue with diversity through the years with in regards to what's being made, who's making it, who's casting it, who's being cast, what stories are being told. And I feel like now there's sort of the floodgates are opened up. There's so many possible platforms, so many different kinds of stories that can be told in different ways. I mean, the fact that you can even put up a 4-part miniseries versus, 16-part or whatever.
Yeah.
So then I don't know, I'm really excited because I feel like there's so much possibility now for new work and new faces and different perspectives than ever before, and at a higher caliber quality. So it's weird to say, oh yeah, the 2020s might be an epic time, but it does feel like there's some real possibility, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, no, I agree. That's what I was going to say. Present day right now, I feel like women are, having a lot of opportunity to play different characters, show off different realities that women live in, and then also female directors and writers. Everyone, we're being heard. It feels good. So I don't know.
I will say
more to come.
I hope so. Yes.
I don't think we're going to have as big as stars as we used to, just because of kind of what you were talking about, the splintering of, anybody can make a movie now, and you put it up on so many different areas. So you're not going to have an Ingrid Bergman picture that like everybody sees, because there's
Right.
so many different
Yes.
movies that come out that nobody can keep up with all that content. But as it becomes more accessible to make for people, because people can just make it on their home computers or even on their phones nowadays, people are going to be able to find the kind of content that they really want to see a lot more, would be my opinion.
Mhm.
Right.
Mhm.
Right. And I would have to say that I do certainly agree with you guys that what they consider to be the golden age of Hollywood, the 30s to the 60s, when the studio system was still in place, that was definitely a time for the A-lister, whether it be actress or actor, doesn't really matter.
Mhm. Mhm.
That was a time in history when people were going to the movies because it was the only form of entertainment that they had, especially media outlet, outside of the radio and newspaper. That was it. Television didn't really get super huge until the mid 60s, early 60s. I think for me, at least, I really feel that really the mid 90s to the late 2000s, I feel that 15-year era, that was the biggest leap forward in the type, kind of back to what Kim, you were talking about, with the types of roles that women were getting, especially leading roles. Back in that time when you're talking about the golden age, I felt like the range of acting that women were getting was very limited. There was a very limited number of types of things they could be, not saying that leading women like Betty Davis or Vivian Leigh or Audrey Hepburn or anything were always like damsels in distress, because a lot of them were, hard-nosed and, they could match the actor talent just as well. They were on the same par. But I feel that there's been more successful and almost monumental leading roles in that 15-year period. I always go back to, in particular, I go back to Uma Thurman when she was in the Kill Bill series. Not that Tarantino never claimed to be like a trailblazer, to be like, he's like, I'm going to start the action sci-fi with, or excuse me, not the sci-fi, but the action kung fu with a female lead. Like my heroine is going to be female. He obviously was not the first one to do that, but he was the first one, and Uma Thurman was the first one to really bring it into the mainstream and show that an actress can carry an entire action film in a genre that had been primarily carried by men for 60, 80 to 80 years. I'm sure Sigourney Weaver definitely held her own in the Alien franchise for sure. I just kind of thought the role for Uma Thurman had a little bit more gravitas when watching it, even though I do like both. I just felt that between those, I don't want to go into the whole list, but for me it was that 15-year period. You started to see a lot of the films. It was the writing. It lent itself to a lot more realistic writing and just more down to earth and darker almost. And they started dishing all of those roles out to not just actors. They started throwing it out to a lot more actresses too. At this time we're starting to open up to not just white female leads. We're starting to open it up to Black and Asian and Latina female leads as well. And so you start to diversify a bunch, and you're starting to see all these talented people coming in that we didn't necessarily see as many of 60 years before that. So let's go ahead and we'll move on to the next one here. So talking about what the topic was for tonight. That's why I love these episodes, when we can go off on tangents and keep it going. Those are the most exciting conversations. Coming up with an algorithm of sorts for determining the greatest actresses of all time. So I wanted to go around really quick, and if everybody wants to throw out a suggestion or two, you're welcome to agree or disagree with people. If you don't think that their suggestion should or should not be in our equation to determine the greatest of all time. I'm going to go ahead and start out on this one. Biggest thing.
So let me just also put it there, like when we did it for the guys, we're trying to find a way to make this objective as much as possible, because there's like finding out who the greatest actress is, it's subjective to what you think. So we're trying to come up with an algorithm to say, okay, this is objectively. And it's kind of ridiculous, but I think that's kind of the goal, right, Johnny?
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. I agree with you. Now, when we originally did it, who was it that fell on? Jack Nicholson was number one, just based off the variables that we put into that algorithm, into that equation, and then came. But who surprised? Was it John Goodman surprised the hell out of us?
He was number 11.
He was number 11. Yeah, and I was like, I love John Goodman so much, but I don't know if I'd put him that high. So we won't go quite that far into it tonight, just based off time.
That was a crazy thing we did.
It was.
Nobody should listen to that episode.
The fact that we did that on a spreadsheet with like 200 actors, it took.
Oh my god,
incredible!
It took so long.
We're crazy.
It was crazy. It was a crazy time. So for me, probably my biggest thing, I used to not. No, I still do. You know what? As much as I think the Oscars off and on over the last 5 years has kind of gone down, I do put a lot of weight on award season. It doesn't have to just be Oscars. It can be Emmys, can be Golden Globes, can be BAFTA, can be SAG. It doesn't matter. But I think number of not only wins but nominations should always be put into account. It doesn't necessarily make or break the greatest of all time, but I definitely think it has a very heavy hand when deciding on this. So that would be mine. Kim, how about you? What would be a variable you'd like to throw in?
An actress that who can play, a romantic lead, but also like the bad guy, and also
the versatility.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. Absolutely.
Like a character actor, not just a personality actor, a character actor.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Perfect. Yeah. I love that one. That's great. Kaci, how about you?
I was thinking like somebody who takes risks in multiple media.
Okay.
So yeah, like somebody who is, doing has tried a lot of different forms.
Yeah, absolutely. Somebody who's done everything, maybe, they always talk about, what's that award when you win the Emmy, the Grammy, the Tony? No.
Yes.
The ERGOT. Do you say the Razzie?
Yes.
Fuck you, Gary.
But yeah, exactly. I mean, how incredible. Something we don't talk about a lot.
Yeah, no, we don't.
So much on the Oscars, but you're like, but yeah, there's it's kind of amazing if you could like kill it in multiple categories of media.
Yeah.
It's like really putting work into your craft because they are all so different. They require a lot of different skills to come forward. I don't know how you put that in the algorithm. Maybe it's just like what's on the IMDb resume or Wikipedia.
Right.
combined.
Maybe like ability to cross-platform.
Yeah.
Or multimedia, maybe.
Maybe how many times they've crossed that platform, you look at their credits on every different media outlet that they've ever touched. And then you see how many, maybe they've done 5 or 6 or something as opposed to 2.
Like J-Lo?
Yeah, actually, No.
It was a joke.
Actually, you might be joking.
It was a mean joke.
You might be joking, but I'm not even talking. What was the one that she Hustlers? The one where she was a stripper?
I haven't seen it. Is it good?
I've seen it.
I fucking loved it. I thought it was
You liked
awesome.
it? Okay.
I actually was pretty pissed that she got. I saw a lot of this. Whenever the Oscars come around, like Gary can attest to this, we treat it kind of like it's a competition. Everybody throws $50 in, and then we bet on every category at the Oscar party.
There's
and
nothing
so
illegal going
we jump
on
in,
here.
and so we'll go out and we'll see all the movies. But I thought she was robbed, man. I really did. I thought she should have at least gotten a nomination.
At least for Geely or something.
Oh yeah, that was a great one, Gary. Yeah,
Giggly.
Forgot to tell you to go kill yourself. But yeah, hey, that's neither here nor there. So it's fine. It's fine. You're great. You're a wonderful guy. Wonderful person. Yeah. So Gary, what about you? What would you throw in there as your variable?
Mine would be this one's kind of subjective, I know, but like memorable roles. So like, even though you don't like Titanic, Johnny, Kate Winslet certainly had a memorable role.
She did. Yeah, Rose is going to go down as the most selfish protagonist of all time.
There was plenty of room on that fucking door. What the hell?
There was. Let's go back. All right, we're gonna have.
Everyone believes that, right?
I know. I think everybody does.
Oh yeah. Absolutely.
They really needed to do that. I mean, that's just bad. I mean, that the
why
filmmakers
did
really
they do
messed
that?
up that. They really messed up that moment. So everyone,
did.
I think was I like 10 when I saw that? I definitely remember thinking, but
It was
what?
about 10,
Why
yeah.
did he just let go?
She should have just moved over and
Yeah, just
let
a
him
little
get
bit.
up.
Or why? But he let
Silly.
go. Just like goodbye.
So
I know.
Kim and
And then
Kaci, I
she
don't know
just
if
lets
you've
go.
yeah, I don't know if you've had a chance to see it, but there's an alternate ending to Titanic.
Oh God.
No.
Yeah,
Yep.
it's a real
Is it really?
thing.
Yes.
There is a and you
Wow.
can go on YouTube right
God,
now.
I
Well,
need to see it.
once we're done here, you can go on YouTube and look up Titanic alternate ending, and it'll blow your mind.
It was actually filmed with like Carrie Elways and who else was on there, Gary, that they had in the end. The woman who was
Carrie
supposed to be. It was actually like James Cameron. They actually went in and filmed this ending, and James Cameron saw it and he said, "This is fucking ridiculous. We're not ending the movie like this."
Yes, clearly, do not
So
use that
they-
ending. That was terrible.
So they went back and reshot the ending in a different scene.
Oh gosh.
It's
Now I
hilarious.
really need to
It's-
go watch it. Yeah.
You'll have to. It's so funny. Okay, so I think those are all. I think those are all real solid variables to go based off of. So let's jump into this. Okay, for those of you that are a consistent listener with us, you know how we do our Mount Rushmore +1, which is just a fancy way of saying top 5. So you know that we will go around the panel and everybody will go ahead and give one suggestion for a top 5 at a time. If somebody takes one of your picks, you have to remove that pick from your list and add somebody else in. So that kind of makes it fun. And we'll just do 5 for now. And then once we've all given our own personal top 5s and kind of our reasoning for each pick, then we will try to come up with a collective Mount Rushmore +1. We will try to all agree on 5 actresses to put up there, and those can get intense. So we will see what happens. We will see what happens. So we will let our guests start us off this evening. Kaci, I'm going to go ahead and shoot over to you. Who would be the first person on your, and it doesn't have to be in any type of chronological order, just however you want to do it.
Okay, Margot Robbie. Robbie.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Okay. Why would Margot Robbie be on your list, just out of curiosity?
I think for me, she hits all of my criteria as far as like versatility, playfulness, joy, intensity, screen presence, charisma. I don't think I've seen her in anything where I wasn't totally enraptured by what she was doing.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So I'm going to get you down here for Margot Robbie. Okay. Kim, how about you?
Margot Robbie on the board.
Margot Robbie's on the board. Or off
the board. What is
Kate Blanchett.
Oh,
good choice.
I hate you so much.
Sorry, Johnny.
I'm so mad at Kim right now. She's never coming back, Gary.
Oh,
God. Mark it down. You're blacklisted.
I was watching The Lord of the Rings the other day.
Oh, man, yes.
She's so great in that. Oh, my God.
She is.
And then Thor Ragnarok.
I know. Like, what movie has she not been good in? You know? I can't name one.
I can't name one. There isn't one.
Yeah, exactly.
That's unfair. I can't think of one. Normally, I like to play devil's advocate and name someone, but I can't. Damn it. Okay. All right. Okay. So Margot Robbie, Kate Blanchett off the board. Gary, who do you got?
I'm going to put Katharine Hepburn on the board.
Well, you
yes.
Nice.
I hate you, Gary.
Yeah,
the
baby.
most winningest actress of all time for the Oscars.
Well, yeah, technically. Gary.
Not the most nominated, but the most winningest.
True. All right. You know, so
she's the Joe Montana of Academy Awards.
Okay, well, first off, Tom Brady would be the equivalent of that. He has more than Joe Montana now. So a little football.
But he didn't win every single one.
Yeah.
Okay, my sports analogy is breaking down.
Hang on. Are you saying Katharine Hepburn did not win every single nomination she went up for? She was up for 12 and only won 4.
Okay. Shut up, Johnny. Nobody likes you.
All right. Gary, why Katharine Hepburn?
Katharine Hepburn, to me, just such a wonderful actress. Like, she's got such a power and intensity to her. And she was, like, it just, her pure charisma, like, because she wasn't a big lady, like she was a very petite woman, but like just the fire in her eyes and the way she would, command the presence of the entire stage, no matter what other actor was on scene, be it Humphrey Bogart or Peter O'Toole, or
Spencer Tracy.
Yeah, I mean, like she just was such a lion of a spirit inside her. It was amazing to watch.
Yeah, and she was. I always found that really interesting. For the fact that she was able to be so popular, to be such an icon at that time, because during the golden age, or what they considered to be the golden age of cinema, most of the leading ladies were honestly drop dead gorgeous. They were just what you would consider to be like classically what an absolutely like a gorgeous siren of a woman might look like. Katharine Hepburn was a pretty woman, of course, but she had kind of what you were talking about with earlier, Gary. She had that unique look to her, and she didn't necessarily look like like an Audrey Hepburn or Vivian Leigh or a Marilyn Monroe.
Sort of masculine
like
features in some ways,
like severe.
Sure.
Severe features,
But she was just so
straight.
Yeah.
Straight fire.
Oh yeah, she was just so damn talented.
And then she had that Connecticut accent. That's a terrible Katharine Hepburn, Gary.
Terrible Katharine Hepburn, Gary. Come on. Get with it. All right, Gary. Philadelphia story. Go.
Okay.
Just kidding. Don't do that, please.
Sure thing.
Don't want to hear it again.
You could do a little bit of a Katharine Hepburn accent.
I want to go with my number, but I know someone's going to take her later, so I'm going to go a little off the rail here. An actress who I feel really does not get as much credit as she should, because she started a little later and just didn't get noticed early on. But Viola Davis has.
Oh my God, that's it's on my list.
Too.
Yeah, that was my next person.
Oh man, she's been. I kind of, I don't want to go into my top three, but she's been up there in the upper echelon of my list for quite some time. Kind of like. Just moving around. Like she'll go to 2, then she'll go to 1, then she'll drop down to 4, and it just depends on what movies I'm seeing that year, But if you look at the types of roles that she's had, if you look from everything from The Help to Fences to Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, the one that recently came out with Chadwick Boseman, Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, and just a bunch, and even the Suicide Squad movies, she can play such a wide array of characters, and she captures, and she's just every moment that she's in, she captures the attention of the audience, and she's just so mesmerizing, man. I mean, also her eyes in general are just very like piercing, but I can't explain it. I think it's what you were talking about with earlier, Gary, with the charisma and the aura that they walk around with, the attitude that they have, and they command that attention. And she just blows me away every time. And the fact that she's only gotten one Oscar still pisses me off to this day. And she's older. People don't realize that she's not like, oh, she's up and coming. No, I mean, she's in her 50s or early 60s, however old she is. So that would be mine.
She definitely has like undeniable gravitas, but then in a dime, like such fragility.
Ooh.
And super funny. Like, yeah.
Oh yeah.
I was thinking about.
Some people are born with it. Some people have to grind as hard as they can in those special schools to find it. I don't know a whole lot about her background, but I guarantee you she probably did both, most likely. That would be where I'm at. So let's switch up the order a little bit. Kim, I'm going to jump to you. Who would be the second on your list?
Oh no. Let's see. Probably Emily Blunt. I really like her.
I was gonna do Emily Blunt.
Sorry.
No.
Yeah, she's also really good at being, versatile actress. So I like her a lot.
Absolutely.
Did you see Live, Die, Repeat? Or
yes, she's badass in that.
Oh, by the way, that movie is like a 9 out of 10. Like, it's a fantastic movie,
right? It's so good. Yes.
Yeah, and like you never think about it, but like, because you like, this is just gonna be a stupid action movie, but like, it's really good, and she does an excellent job in that.
Yeah, she does. So does Tom Cruise. He's himself, but it was still fun to watch,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that it's really fun getting to see somebody like Emily Blunt, who, you see her in like The Devil Wears Prada, and you recognize her as, oh, she's this dainty little British actress. Well, no, she's not.
No.
she's the Iron Bitch in Live, Die, Repeat. Like that's or the Steel Bitch, whatever her nickname was. But yeah, same thing, man. Just command in that room.
That's right.
Gary, how about you? Who's number 2 for you, or second to name?
I'm going to put Meryl Streep up. She's an actress that basically, if she made a movie about herself taking a dump, she'd win a nomination for it at least. I mean, come on, like, she's nominated for everything.
She's been nominated 21 times.
Damn, that is a lot of times.
Every time you're right, man. Every time it seems that she's acting, she gets a nomination, regardless of how good the film is.
Mainly, I just wanted to steal that from you, Johnny.
Yes, I was thinking about taking her, and I was like, you know what? I'll let somebody else have her. I've got some other interesting ones. What's your favorite role of hers, Gary?
I really liked her in The Iron Lady. And then Sophie's Choice, of course, was probably, for me, her most memorable role. Like, she is just one of those actresses that is, we talk about versatility. Like, she can play, Sophie's Choice, which is a woman in Nazi Germany that's having to make a choice between which 2 of her children does she want to send to a death camp. Right. And like that vulnerability and the sorrow there. To like The Iron Lady, in which she plays Margaret Thatcher, who's this very strong-willed prime minister of England during the 1980s. So, like, she's just got such an array, and really, really enjoyable to watch in most every movie she's been in.
Yeah, and so for those of you that don't know, Gary has sinned by not seeing The Devil Wears Prada ever.
Oh, wow. You have to see it. If you love Meryl Streep, you have to see that movie.
Yeah, Gary.
Is that the one with the Dalmatians?
No. That's
not
Glenn Close.
Oh, no.
Glenn Close is great, too, though.
Yes.
I can see where you see the similarities in how their costumes are designed, but no, Gary, no. Kaci, how about you? Who would be number 2 for you?
Oh my gosh, this is so tricky. Okay, this one might seem out of left field, but definitely tops for me is Kate McKinnon.
Interesting. That is out of left field. Why? I gotta know why. She's hilarious.
I don't feel like that. I mean, it's really tricky because she has just been on SNL for so many years, and that is such a rigorous, just insane work schedule. I don't know if you ever looked into how they make it, but they really do write and produce it and then perform it live every single week. And when you're stuck in that cycle, I think it's hard for them to break out and make other things. Though, of course, she's like epic in Ghostbusters. But I find myself watching so many of her sketches over and over and over again, more than any other comedic actress. I think she's absolutely tops for me.
Oh, she's hilarious.
God, I mean, like, just so good. Like, just like the most watchable human being, or like most watchable white woman, I should say, for me. And I don't think that, I mean, I think people know, like, oh yeah, she's funny, but I think they disregard how much talent and work and sharpness and wit goes into being a great comedic actress.
Right.
I think it's discounted a lot. And I think she could kill in any sort of dramatic role if maybe she will get, I mean, she's only 37, so
yeah,
maybe she will get to do more of that going forward.
We've talked
she's
about
not kind of tied to SNL. Yeah.
We talked about on other episodes how it's actually, we've noticed that it's easier for a comedic actor or actress to transition into drama as opposed to a dramatic actor transitioning into comedy, just because that comedic timing, it's almost harder to master than getting, than making people cry, or
That's
making them
feel say.
Yeah. So there's
100%.
definitely a lot of praise that should be given to people that can do that. So let me ask you, is Kate McKinnon your favorite female SNL artist?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, it's a tricky. I mean, it's tricky. I mean, that's a hard list. I mean, it's
It's a tough
God, in
list.
recent years, it's become incredible.
Yeah.
So it's a tough list. It's a really tough list. But yeah, I mean, there's some people overtaking that spot, maybe.
Mhm.
Or at least like giving Kate some competition, but she really paved the way. Even more so, I think.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. No, I don't know. People used to ask me all the time, like, yeah, who's your favorite actor, actress? And I would just be like, I don't know. I don't know. I don't have
too
one.
many.
Too many to choose from. And then one day I was watching her and I was like, it's Kate. It's Kate McKinnon.
I
That's who
know
it is.
now. It's
I know
you.
now. That's you. So good.
Right.
So good. Get enough.
Yeah, no, I that is definitely out of left field, but I could definitely see making a strong case for that, especially on the comedic end. She got chops. For me, I'm gonna reach back in time a little bit here and go with the golden area. I'm gonna say Vivian Lee. For sure. I personally still consider Streetcar Named Desire is in general one of my favorite scripts, like just plays ever written, by far. You know, I mean, dang it. Why am I forgetting? It's Tennessee Williams. Thank you. I'm saying thank you. I thought of it myself.
I don't know what you're saying. Thank you.
It's probably, I'd say it's probably my favorite Tennessee Williams play in general, and getting to see, getting to see her as Blanche was one of the first introductions that I ever personally had to a not typical female character when I was in theater. I saw it from a pretty young age. Saw it in high school actually, and I wasn't really as into movies then as I am now. I also, I'm a kid, so I didn't understand the subtleties of every part of the script. Didn't appreciate it as much. But when I saw her performance, I just remember getting goosebumps. I just remember getting chills in, basically the rape scene that was, or the beforehand rape scene when she's with Stanley. And it still haunts me to this day. I'm thinking about it right now, talking about it, and I'm like, I'm gonna YouTube that scene after we're done, actually, because now I'm excited. I'm like pumping my own self up. And she was great. Gone with the Wind, I thought, was honestly a snooze fest, but she was still good in it. I appreciated Anna Karenina, Caesar and Cleopatra.
Gone with the Wind was a snooze fest?
It's a snooze fest, dude. It is a snooze fest. It's just like Titanic, snooze fest. Overrated.
God, Johnny.
Overrated, my friend. But that's just me. That's just me.
She is amazing in Tennessee Williams' work.
Yeah,
it's such a weird character. You could really do too much with it. She doesn't. She like rides that line. It's haunting. It's a haunting performance.
It is, man, and it's cool. We don't get to talk about roles like that. We don't talk about performances that are haunting very often. When it's still with you decades later, you know that it's something special. That's for fucking sure. So let's loop back around. Gary, let's go with you on this one. Who's number 3 for you?
Well, for me, number 3, I am going to go with a lady named Natalie Portman.
All right.
Yeah, she, of course, is most famous for playing Padme Amidala in the Star Wars movies.
Sure.
And that's really all you need to know about her. No,
you hated those films. I was like, what? You hated the prequels.
They're definitely they're better than the sequel trilogy. I'll give you that. But like she's also like a very. I think for like she's kind of harkens back a little bit to like that old time A-list actress from the Gilded Age, because she's elegant in a lot of her roles, like even in the Thor movie, the first one that she was in, and the second one. It's just the way she acts and moves is graceful, and I think that's very interesting to see.
It's almost like a trained ballet dancer, almost.
Yeah, she's graceful. That's true.
Yeah, I wonder if she was ever trained in dance. That's interesting.
Well, she did a movie where she turned into a swan.
No,
and I
never
saw
turned
it.
into a swan. Never turned into a swan.
I'm pretty sure at the end of the movie she turns into a
No,
swan.
no, that didn't happen.
That's a much better way to end the movie. I'm just saying.
I see. Oh,
Yeah.
whatever. I love Black Swan. Okay. All right. Yeah. Natalie Portman. All right. Good pick. Good pick. Kaci, how about you? What's number 3 for you?
Yeah, I was thinking Michelle Yeoh,
Okay.
who recently did Crazy Rich Asians.
Right.
I feel like Michelle is somebody who I don't think we've seen. I don't think I've seen enough from her yet, even though she's an older actress. I think she's been typecast a bunch.
She has. Yeah.
I don't know if you've seen the Everything Everywhere All at Once trailer.
No. I
Oh
don't
my
think so.
God, it's gonna blow your mind. Everyone go,
Okay.
everyone go watch it. It's gonna blow your mind. I think it's like her chance to really break out of this sort of like, her in kung fu films only.
Yeah.
Or you have to be like the wise Asian matriarch. She's
Right.
just somebody who has a lot of gravitas, exceptional screen presence, and is actually very versatile. Has done a lot of voice acting work, TV, film. Just has done a lot and makes a lot.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was like, I don't want to overlook Michelle Yeoh, even though I feel like she's not gotten the opportunities other actresses have. But maybe, I don't know, you got to look at that trailer.
I'll definitely check
Bust
it out.
it
Kind of
out.
queued up here. It is funny that you had said that. Yeah, really, the opportunities that she's had. I mean, from what I recall, she was. I know for a fact she was in Memoirs of a Geisha. I remember her in that. I'm pretty sure she was in Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. I'm pretty sure I remember. It's been a while since I've seen it, but I do recall her face being.
Yeah, she is.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And so I think you're right. I mean, a lot of roles nowadays, in particular, too, are primarily, and especially nowadays, are primarily written for primarily white, black, and sometimes Latina races and stuff. And it seems that she was unfairly typecast in a lot of kung fu films or films that were only about the Asian community. So it'd be interesting to see what happens, because let me look. It says looks like she's almost 60. Yeah, man, wow. So she doesn't have a ton of time left. Maybe another decade, or maybe a little more. But it would be interesting to see what else she can do. Oh, she's from Malaysia. I didn't know that.
I know. Yeah, she's from Malaysia. She came to London to study at the Royal Academy as a teenager. That was really interesting. Like, definitely putting the work in as an actor.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And we were just talking about, she has a movement dance background.
Mm-hmm.
Which is partially why I think she did some of those martial arts.
Would make sense. And the Memoirs of a Geisha would definitely make sense.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. For my third one, I'm actually going to have to go. I'm going to put in a younger actress who still has a lot of time left in her career, but I think she's already made enough strides to where every time I see her, I know our other co-host who's not here tonight, Neil, is not a big fan of hers, but I just eat everything up she does with a spoon. Jennifer Lawrence, for sure.
J-Law.
Oh, dude, J-Law, give me some all day. She's not only is she just a really badass human being in general. Like, I just love watching interviews with her on anytime whether it's she and Chris Pratt trying to make each other laugh, or she's just she's on Colbert's newest show, she's on the Tonight Show or something. She's just always a hoot, man. She's just such
she's hilarious.
You look at any David O. Russell film which he's in the majority of them. I think in particular, I don't want to say Silver Linings Playbook is my favorite because that's where she won her Oscar, but it is. I mean, Winter's Bone was also up there, but I loved seeing her reach out past, she got really big with playing Kat Everdeen in the Hunger Games series. And then she reaches out and becomes this neurotic psycho in Silver Linings, and you just see a whole nother side of her, and it was very refreshing. It was a nice change of pace. So I can't wait to see what's going to happen with her. She's one of those people that I look at and I'm like, okay, I see you being this generation's version of Meryl or Hepburn. I see you having the talent and potential to get to that level. Although she's still pretty young, but
I
we'll
read
see.
a cool interview with her. I think it was in Variety or
Okay.
Vogue. Maybe it was in Vogue. Well, she talked about how she had taken like a couple years off from acting recently because she didn't like the person that she was becoming, and it's really, really cool.
Oh, that's pretty cool. Yeah.
And then talking about coming back to it with like sort of fresh eyes and how much more grateful she was able to be. I think that's so tricky to be like kind of at the top to go, okay, actually got to step away, or I don't know that I'm going to be able to keep going.
Exactly. Yeah, because you don't want to lose you don't want to lose the sense of yourself. You know. You know, you don't want to. I mean, I'm sure none of us are famous to the point where we would probably lose ourselves in that. But if we ever get to that point, and hopefully we all do in some way, shape, or form, you don't want to forget where you came from. You know, we all come from humble beginnings.
You want to be grounded.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think and I feel like no matter who you are or what you do, you have to realize those moments when you've been pushing for so long that you've lost yourself in whatever your work is, and you have to figure out. I mean, you just took this trip, Jonny.
Yeah,
and,
right.
You know,
and
imagine it was in part for your soul.
Absolutely. I mean, it was. I always joke that it's the male version of Eat, Pray, Love for me. You know, I'm whoever the equivalent of male version of Julia Roberts would be. Even though that's not quite how it ended up, but
who would be the male equivalent of Julia Roberts? Let's ponder that. That's an interesting question.
That is an interesting question. Oh God! Talk about out of left field. Gee, I
think I know. Hugh Grant.
Hugh Grant. Okay.
Are you just saying that because of Notting Hill? Or you really think so?
Are they in the together? No, I just think they both had this like kind of burst onto the scene as like hot little hotties. I think was how they were seen.
Yeah.
And then that they sort of had to age into their work. That's just my quick flash of inspiration.
I can see that.
Okay. Yeah. I could get behind that. Absolutely. Kim, how about you? Who's number 3 on your list?
This is way left field. I just thought of her. I don't feel like she's recognized enough, and she hasn't necessarily been in a whole bunch of stuff, but what she does choose to be in, she picks really different characters each time. Jenna Malone.
Oh, wow.
That's a really interesting one. Yeah, I would not have thought that.
And she was like, I remember loving her so much.
I love her. Yeah.
And then being like, where is she? You know,
yeah, she's just like not
disappeared for a bit.
Yeah. But all of her roles are so different. And that's why I like her. I mean, I was going to say Florence Pugh because I love her, but then I was like, well, Jenna Malone is. I don't know. There's just so many. It's really hard to choose, to be honest.
It's really hard.
Yeah.
It's hard.
Yeah, it is. It is difficult to choose. It really is. God, especially nowadays when there's just so much media coming out, and so there's way more roles to offer a wider array of people than there were, 50 years ago. So yeah, it becomes difficult. It definitely becomes difficult. Gary, let's jump to you. 4, number 4.
My 4 is Ingrid Bergman.
You son
she was an actress back in the golden days of Hollywood, Swedish born. She was very attractive. Like she's sort of like the starlet ideal you think of. Like her and Bette Davis are probably like the paragons of beauty. But Ingrid Bergman, she also spoke 5 different languages. And she made movies in each of them. And although her most famous role was Casablanca, she was also in other movies like Gaslight. In I think 1944 or something like that. There was, she had other good movies to go with, and just really sort of like one of the classic for me, like the classic Hollywood star,
right?
That you enjoy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with that one. Kaci, go ahead with your 4th.
Okay, Lucille Ball.
Nice.
Oh, yeah.
Very nice. Okay.
Oh my gosh.
I got some explaining to do.
she'd been in over 60 films before she did Lucy Ricardo.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I Love
really?
Lucy. Yeah.
You know that also Lucille Ball was single-handedly responsible for starting Star Trek.
Yes.
Wait, what?
Yes.
Yep.
And she's responsible for the 3-camera sitcom comedy.
That I can see.
Yeah, no, nobody else wanted to do Star Trek, but Lucille Ball was like, "You guys are gonna CBS, you're gonna do this," and so they did.
Wow. Okay. That's I would never have known that unless you had said something. I actually got to do I was on the Masked Singer for a couple days when I was out in LA, and we were at Red Studios, which is owned by Brad Pitt. That was actually the same studio that they first shot I Love Lucy on. So they still have some of the old like housing setups just to pay homage to it. Yeah, it was really cool seeing it. But okay, I was like, yeah, all right, Lucille Ball, man. Yeah, if I was to think about best comedic actresses of all time, especially those that were in TV sitcoms, she would definitely either top my list or be up there with, we talked about Julia Louis-Dreyfus, Betty White, Mary Tyler Moore, whatever.
I think I grew up watching her. I don't know if y'all had the, parents who would watch Nick at Night or whatever.
Yeah, or TV Land.
TV Land. Yeah. So it was on, but it was like in this weird other time slot. Mm-hmm. So funny because they used to be prime time, but as things move on, soon all the shows that we watched are gonna be in those weird late nights nostalgia spots, and it feels weird. But it just kind of made me not. I loved them, but I disregarded them until recently, as being as masterful as they are.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah. If you, it's really like, you just take it for granted. You're like, oh, of course.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
like
exactly.
Writing,
like,
producing, direct, like doing all of it and starring in it.
Lucille Ball had some of the best comedic timing of anybody that has ever lived on this earth. I mean,
oh yeah,
she's great.
I can't remember a time I didn't watch an episode and I wasn't just in stitches. Just from laughing so hard after it was all done. That's a great pick. I love that. I love that one. It might be actually my favorite one I didn't think about. So I'll go. Kim, do you have one or do you want me to go ahead and go?
I do. I have one now.
Okay, go ahead.
Emma Thompson.
Yes.
Oh, that's another good one.
It's on my list. That was
solid.
So good.
I'm going to add that to here. Love it. God, man. Oh man. I fucking miss her. She's great. What's your favorite role of hers?
My favorite role of hers is it's a Will Ferrell movie where she plays a writer.
Stranger Than Fiction.
Stranger Than Fiction. Oh yeah. What?
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to steal that.
No, that's okay. I love that movie. This is like really late for me. I'm usually going to bed at like 9, so my brain is like.
Oh God.
Yeah. Well, it's up way early.
Okay, I helped remember it then. Okay, that's good.
That's just why I'm like having, some spacey moments. But yeah. So Stranger Than Fiction, I love her character in that.
Mm-hmm. Yes, absolutely.
Fucking good pick, man. For me, I'm gonna honestly, we talked about her earlier.
Mm-hmm.
There's a couple people. This is so hard, but I'm just gonna go with it. I have to throw Tilda Swinton in there. I really do.
Yes, for sure.
She's just God, dude. From the Chronicles of Narnia to Michael Clayton to she had the role that she had in Trainwreck, that Amy Schumer film that she wrote where she was her boss. I saw that movie. I think, yeah, dude, and like I saw it like. Probably the third time I saw it, I think I finally recognized it was her because at the time I was not staying after to look at the credits. I was just like, oh, that was really great. And I didn't recognize her at all. She's a chameleon, man. We were talking about it earlier. Like the woman, she hasn't gotten her due diligence quite yet. She's got one win, and I feel that there's more coming. I feel that she just got recognized later. It's like the Gary Oldman effect we were talking about.
She's good
in the what?
The Beach with
Leo.
Yep, she's good.
Yeah. Is that where he takes the camera and it's like Shutter Island? No,
that's Shutter Island.
Oh, dang it!
Is she where he takes camera? Was she in that movie Shutter Island where it was Shutter Island?
Is that the one on the boat where it sank with Leo? Oh no.
Oh no, that was the one with that really selfish lady. I can't remember her name. Kate Winslet or something.
Yes.
So Kaci, let's hear you wrap up your personal top 5.
Yes. Okay, Frances McDormand.
Oh,
right, okay.
I hate you. That was gonna be my fifth one.
Oh my god! I mean,
Perfect.
like,
Good pick.
I mean, like, really, actually hitting a lot of exactly what we talked about in our algorithm, as
Right.
far as being super versatile, winning a ton of awards, being nominated for tons of awards, being a really actually okay. We didn't talk about this, but also seems like a really swell person, off camera. Doing their own thing, having their own practice. Oh my god! I mean, did y'all see 3 billboards outside Ebbing, Missouri?
Hell yeah.
Oh my god!
Absolutely, man.
Just like
Talk about
killing it. I mean,
just talk about a movie that that you watch and it makes you want to go join her in beating the shit out of these guys that create that cause these heinous crimes. You know, like you want to join her. It's like when I saw 300, 2 different movies, of course, but I walked out of the theater.
Pretty much the same thing.
And I wanted to get in a fight with somebody. You know, I was like, 300, fuck yeah, let's punch the next guy that I see. You know, and I see this, and I'm like, she just pulled me in so much. I was like, I don't know you, Frances McDormand, but if this happened to your daughter in real life, I'm there with you, dude. I will.
I feel like if I saw her in real life, I would be like. I feel like I don't know how you are when you see like celebrities. A lot of people, I'm just like, oh, it's so and so. It doesn't really touch me. But I feel like if I saw her out and about, she'd probably be super cool too. But I'd probably be a little starstruck. I think just because she has such presence. And you're also like, what does she think about me? Like, it seems like she has like her characters have such sharp opinions. You know, you're like, she's gonna have something to say. Who knows? Actually, in real life, she seems actually like a sweetheart. But her characters are often she like picks such strong points of view to play from. It's not always what you'd expect if you read the character on the page.
Right. So Kim, how about you? Who rounds out your top 5?
Oh, okay. I'm gonna botch her name.
No.
Oh my god.
No.
Yeah.
No. All right, go ahead. Sorry, I should be quiet. Shut up, Johnny.
Say yours, Ronan.
Damn it, son of a
Saoirse. It's Saoirse. Saoirse Ronan.
Excuse me while I mute my mic.
Sorry.
Fuck. Good pick. Damn it. 2 in a row. Oh God, we're all of like mind here. Yeah, and I would have botched your name too. I would have been like Cyrus.
So it's
Saoirse
Ronan. Okay. I know it's Irish, but
I watched so many YouTube videos and interviews with her to figure out how she says her own name.
Because I'm looking at it right now too, and I'm just like, how the
I know
the hell. No, she's just God, dude. Yeah, everything from her, when she was younger in Atonement to more recently with Lady Bird and their new adaptation of Little Women.
Yep.
Oh my God, incredible!
Oh yeah,
film.
Kim was talking about how much she loved that Little Women last time she was on.
Yeah.
Me?
Yeah, you.
Oh yeah, I'm obsessed with that movie. It was so good. It was
so good.
I remember you just talking about like, I love it.
I know, I'm such a nerd. I know.
It's such a good film. I mean, it's the best. I can't imagine a better adaptation of the book.
Yeah, it was just sweet how they did it. But you know, if you had another podcast episode and you talked about period piece dramas, I mean,
Oh my God, that sounds like a great episode.
That does sound like a good episode.
I'm adding that to my episode list right now, Kim.
Talk about an actress. You want to talk about versatility? Playing in a period piece is not fucking easy.
Yeah,
it's a difficult task. It's a tall order to fill. And this girl jumped between that and Brooklyn, and you can even throw Grand Budapest Hotel in there if you want to. And then she jumps over to Lady Bird.
I know.
Just so drastically different between
she's
all
so
of them.
Young.
Yeah, I know. She's not even 30. It's fucking crazy. Not even 30 yet. God, not even fair, man. Just immensely talented. Fucking crazy. Gary, how about you? Who's your 5th?
I'm going to round out mine with Anne Hathaway.
Okay.
Yeah, she's an actress. She was in Les Miserables. Yeah, she was.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, she was in Les Miserables. She was, in my opinion, the only those people that were not from Broadway. She was the only good piece, of that group.
Yeah.
I think Anne Hathaway does a really good job, like in Interstellar. Again, she's kind of got like that presence to her, that conviction, where she can play these very vulnerable parts, but she can also be very strong when she needs to be. And she's got a really wonderful smile. She's got a great smile when she smiles, and like she's just like I really enjoy watching her perform on stage.
Mm-hmm. What would you say is your favorite movie of hers or favorite role?
I don't know. I really did like her in Interstellar.
Mm-hmm.
That right now is the one that's popping up to the top of my head.
Okay.
That's not an expression, but that's the word it is now.
Now, I know you weren't a fan of the remake of Les Mis because you thought Russell Crowe was a horrible pick to play Javert.
Yeah, so terrible.
Yeah,
I agree.
But her role her 10 minutes, her one song basically nodded her first Oscar. So from that particular role, do you think she deserved that with only, 5 minutes of screen time or 10 minutes of screen time? Or do you think she just won it because she had been an A-lister for so long?
Well, I mean, I think she won it because she took a chance with that role. Like,
sure.
She definitely was not going for the pretty look in that role. So it was sort of a more vulnerable, exposed portion. And I think she literally did just cut off her hair in like the scene before that or during that scene, like in real life, when it was being filmed. And although I have severe disagreements with them not using click tracks and going to the beat of the music, that's a whole other topic. Her song was the highlight, I think, of the first act of the movie. That was the first and last moment I was like, oh, this movie could be really good. And then it just severely went down.
And then you're like, oh, she's gone, and yeah.
It was not a good moment. Not a good moment at all.
I can't believe that she's on your list and you haven't seen The Devil Wears Prada.
Is she in it?
Yeah, she's the lead.
I thought that was that other chick, Glenn Close.
No, Gary. First off, it's Meryl Streep.
That's the dog movie. God damn it,
Gary. We've gone over two. You cannot keep messing that up.
List.
I guess I should watch that movie.
Yeah,
it looks like it's like set up for you to watch. This movie was made for you, Gary.
Oh, damn it. Okay,
it probably fucking was. Okay, solid round out. For me, I had a hard time with this one since two of mine were taken. Just kidding. I had to leave Amy Adams on the outside looking in on this one, unfortunately, even though I love her. I really do. I feel that Regina King, though, is a little more versatile when it comes to especially somebody that hasn't really, we talked about not receiving recognition until later in their careers. Regina King has built 30 years, essentially. I mean, if you go all the way back, you're starting at like, Boys in the Hood. You look at another Singletary film and you go back to where she had a supporting role in that. And you see that she's able to play a very realistic person in what is considered a hood film. And then you go to Friday, where you see her flex her comedic chops. And then you jump to now, and we see things like If Beale Street Could Talk. When we look at One Night in Miami, which is one that just recently came out. She did a lot of voiceover work. The Boondocks, which is one of my favorite animated series of all time. She was one of the main voices on there for almost the entirety of the run of the show. And I feel like she's just one of those people that it sucks because she was typecast in the beginning of her career for the first 10, 15 years. And it's just recently that they've allowed her to break out and you can start to see her flex, really her versatility. So Regina King for me rounds out my top 5. So
a ton of awards too. Yeah.
She's also on 24.
Was she? Okay. I never saw 24. I saw a couple episodes, but I know you're obsessed with it.
It's a great TV show.
I'm sure it is. There's so many. My parents never watched it when it was on Fox when I was a kid, and I don't really remember. What years was that on? From when to when? Remember?
2001 to 2009 or 10.
Oh wow. Okay. Yeah. So I was not watching as
She
much
also
TV then.
guested in the Big Bang Theory, which talk about versatility. I mean, that had to be hard because that's a deplorable.
Sitcom. Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of amazing to be like, yeah, just step onto a sitcom.
Exactly.
Oh my
Right.
God. Yeah.
So we are coming towards the end here. We are running out of time. We like to try to keep us at least under 2 hours.
Oh, yeah.
This one definitely ran
Yeah,
longer
Johnny,
than
our guests want to leave. Let them go.
So
Keep them locked up.
We're going to come up with our Mount Rushmore +1 collectively. So how this is going to work is everybody will recommend somebody from, you can go from your own list or from somebody else's if you like. And if anybody vetoes, even just one veto, then we cannot put them on the Mount Rushmore +1. You're welcome to debate it out. You're welcome to plead your case. And that's completely fine. Sometimes we all agree and it's done in 2 minutes. Sometimes it takes a little longer. So we'll see how this goes. Just to get the ball rolling, we'll let our guests go first again tonight. Kim, I'm going to let you start, if you wouldn't mind throwing up. Then this is the top 5 of all time, the best of the best.
You want me to
everything?
Or just one right now?
Just one.
Oh.
Just give us one, and then we'll see if we can unanimously agree with you that person deserves to be on our top 5.
Kate Blanchett.
Okay. Give us an argument for Kate Blanchett. Give us a tiny little case of why she should be up there.
I mean, has anyone seen a movie that she's been in that you didn't like? Just curious, because I can't think of a role that she didn't nail. One of them.
I did not like Thor Ragnarok, but I did like her in Thor
But you
Ragnarok.
liked her. That counts, though, liking her.
Okay. I don't have any qualms with that. I got no problem with Kate Blanchett. I would actually probably have put her in my top 5 regardless, if you hadn't taken her earlier. So a yay for me. Kaci, how about you?
Yeah, I can't give it. I mean, like, so tricky, but it's hard. I can't say no, really, because I'm looking right now at her filmography, and I'm like, I mean, oh my God,
Bob Dylan, like what?
Yep.
Also, I love the film Carol.
Yeah.
Oh my God,
lesbian period piece. First time I had ever been able to say that. Awesome.
Oh, want more of that, please.
Oh hell yeah!
Yeah, man. Who else was in that with her? It was her and who was the woman who was opposite of her?
What is her name? It's a young actress.
God dang it!
What is her name? Rooney Mara. It's Rooney Mara.
Rooney Mara. That's right. Okay.
Another really great actress.
Yeah. Another really good one. Okay. Gary, how about you? You okay with Kate Blanchett?
I'm perfectly fine with Kate Blanchett.
Okay, I think it's
actually on my list too.
Yeah, she would have also been on mine. Kaci, how about you? Why don't you throw one out there?
This is so hard.
And you can go from anybody's list, and it doesn't have to be your own.
Anybody's list, anybody at all.
You can throw a new one out.
Or a new person. Jeez. I'm trying to decide whether. Let's see. I mean, I think Viola Davis has to be on the list.
Yeah.
That would have been my first recommendation. So,
I mean, yeah.
Absolutely.
Agreed.
I just think for especially somebody her age that is just starting to get the recognition that she really does deserve. It's just crazy the great work she's been able to do in really barely 15 years. You know,
that's crazy. That's crazy.
I mean, she got started so late. You know, I mean, you look at it's just you look at everything from the Help to Fences to God, what else? To Doubt, Law-Abiding Citizen. What? Law-Abiding Citizen.
I mean, even in Suicide Squad, it's like smaller role.
But still captures the attention of everybody when she's on screen.
I love
God she's in it,
because that just gives us hope. I mean, not you guys maybe, but for me, because I'm I'm late in the game, so anything's possible. So go her, man.
Yeah, that you can get recognized later on in life. Yeah, we actually had an episode called Dare. It was like, Gary, what was that episode called? It was Dare to Dream.
Yeah.
Or okay. And it
About
was
those that started later in life, like Alan
right.
Rickman.
Yeah, people that, and so we had a bunch of actor friends of ours from here in Texas that hadn't started until, their kids grew up and left the house, or, they had started a second career, they started in their 40s or 50s, and just started getting national recognition on commercials and shows. So yeah, it is never too late, and Gary, that's Alan Rickman, Ian McKellen, all these people that didn't really get their first roles until they were 50s and their 60s. So Regina King falls into that. You want to talk about...
I was just gonna say Carlton's super successful, and he didn't start till he was in his 40s.
Yeah, I guess he hadn't. So I don't know. Just everything from. You talk about the success she's had on Broadway, and then the success she's had in all of the miniseries that she's been in, and then the success she's obviously had at the Oscars and with BAFTA in the last 15 years. You go look at her filmography, and you're going to see the versatility of the positions. So yeah, I would definitely agree. I'd throw Viola Davis on there. Gary, how about you?
Yeah, I'm fine with Viola Davis. I think that she's done a really good job in the movies that I've seen her in. I don't know if I would point to Suicide Squad as some of her better work.
I think that she's doing great work in an otherwise
bad movies,
not great film.
Well, like in Suicide Squad, when she's like, "Here's my phone that has all the people's pictures, and if I touch their pictures, their heads will explode." Like her fingers all touch all the pictures. Anyway, that's a critique of Suicide Squad, not her.
That's the script, though. The director. That has nothing to do with her.
But yeah, I do look forward to see where she goes in the future and what she can accomplish.
God, I can't wait to see what she comes up with next. All right, Gary, your turn. Throwing out there.
I'm going to put Katharine Hepburn on the list. I think that's
a
clear, easy choice. Golden age of cinema. She's extremely versatile. Like she can be very strong and very vulnerable, often in close proximity to each other. Like if you look at Guess Who's Coming to Dinner, that's one of her better roles.
Yeah.
And I think her career spans so many decades. We talk about like longevity. That's definitely a part of it. She did not live to the streaming age, but she did also do made for TV movies later on in her life.
Yeah.
And so I think that like she hits on all cylinders for the criteria we set up.
Between Look Who's Coming to Dinner, The African Queen, Philadelphia Story, there's so many to name. You talk about she's got 4 Oscars, all in the leading actress category. The 12 nominations are impressive, but the fact that she has the most out of anybody in history by itself, not counting the iconic performances that she's dished out. You got my vote on that one. I got no qualms with that. Ladies, how about you guys?
Can't argue. Definitely not. Yes.
Perfect. Love it. 3 for 3. Looking good.
Boom.
Feeling good. Moving along. All right. I am going to throw out. I was thinking about this. Oh, man. God, that's a tough one. Meryl Streep has to. I got to throw Meryl Streep out there. There's just.
That was the next person I was thinking of too. I was like, it seems like you almost want to say the top 5, not including Meryl Streep.
We talked about that. We were like, well, we could remove Katharine Hepburn and Meryl Streep and like let them be up, and then we could do like a top 7 kind of thing. But
right.
It's just you don't want to.
We don't have top 5 copyrighted, so
be stupid not to. You cannot. It's like one of those undeniable things.
Yeah, you can't put the master of it all. You talk about just 21 nominations. I can just say that. I can just throw out Sophie's Choice and The Devil Wears Prada and Kramer versus Kramer and a multitude of other different films that everybody has heard of, and they know who she is. Anytime she shows up or walks down the street, they're like, "There's Meryl. We know who she is." I don't know. Anybody got any qualms with that? Anybody not on board? Okay. All right, 4 for 4. I don't think we've ever had 4 for 4 before. Typically, we have a little more debate. Maybe this is easier than we thought. So for the fifth and final one, Kaci and Kim. I'm sorry, I completely had a brain fart. Who did I start with?
Started with me, but
Okay, gotcha. But Kim, you don't want to go. I take from your tone of voice. Okay, it's all right. I'll jump to Kaci. Why don't you go ahead and give us another one?
Cool. Okay. Round out the list. I feel like these all are older, but I think that makes sense.
Sure.
They'd be older. So it's really, I mean, Frances McDormand is going to be mine. You may say no, because I was trying to decide between that and Lucille Ball. But if we're talking about acting chops,
right,
probably talking more in the dramatic range. I know people consider Frances McDormand as quirky. I think it's a little unfair to be like, oh, she brings so much character to her work. It's quirky. It's watchable. But I think it's just because she's very good at creating memorable characters that are extremely versatile.
And I mean, she had been in, I mean, you can call it quirky film, but I think she's shown decent comedic chops. You look at movies like Burn After Reading or Fargo even had its moments. Almost Famous, she had a lot of funny, endearing moments as the overbearing mother,
Fargo. She was so good in Fargo.
I think she's so funny, and so I think that's the thing. I think she is a very good comedic and dramatic actress. And I guess she's been in a lot of roles where she got to show both sides in one piece, which is unusual. And I wonder how much of that was like her and the director, or is it just like a great Coen Brothers thing? But regardless, obviously a staple of their work because of her versatility. So I could see an argument against it, but I think that's gonna
I could see there's a handful of people that we could probably throw around up here. But I think that's a solid fucking pick. I had about 3 that I was kind of looking at between her, and then I was looking at and Vivian Leigh. I just big fan of hers.
Oh yeah.
And then looking at the young ones. I'm sorry, how do you pronounce Saoirse Ronan's name again? Saoirse Ronan and Jennifer Lawrence too, as the young bucks, kind of that eventually will surpass them probably, but they're not quite there yet because their age.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
We'll come back to me. I'm debating in my head. Gary, how about you? How do you feel about Frances McDormand?
I think I'm going to be a no on that one. I do enjoy Frances McDormand, but for me, I don't think she makes my top list.
Okay. It's a tough one, especially when it's in that last position.
I mean, she wasn't in The Devil Wears Prada, so I really can't go with that. That's my criteria.
All right. Well, since we unfortunately have one nay, we'll have to move on to the next. Okay. All right. But like we said, that's still a good pick. Could have definitely convinced me on that one. Kim, how about you? Who would you like to throw out into the mix?
It's all on you, Kim.
It's a toss up between Emma Thompson and Saoirse Ronan. I just can't pick. I don't know. Really hard.
Okay, well that's okay. That's okay. We can go over to Gary if you like.
Sure.
Okay. All right, Gary, why don't you go ahead and give us a fifth?
All right. My fifth is going to be Ingrid Bergman. As I kind of stated earlier when I proposed her, real classic leading lady from the golden age of Hollywood. I think we would be remiss if we didn't have at least, 2 of our choices from that era. I think she's an excellent one.
Casablanca.
Casablanca. The Bells of St. Mary's.
I don't know, but it's almost like, is it Ingrid Bergman or is it Vivian Leigh?
Yeah, I mean, it's tough. Like, which one? I would be fine with either of them. I think I would lean more towards Ingrid Bergman just because I do have a soft spot for Casablanca. And
you do. It's your favorite movie.
I may often get drunk and just start watching it and just bawling my eyes out. Who knows?
Well, that's also true.
That may be, an exaggeration.
Valentine's Day 2014.
Don't talk about that.
We'll live in infamy.
Don't talk about that.
We'll discuss that on the next episode. That's a story. God, man. Yeah, man. She's Casablanca. We talked about the Bells of St. Mary's. Gaslight, you mentioned. The original Murder on the Orient Express. Anastasia. She's just done so much good work. I'm going to have to say no, unfortunately. I think there's probably still about 2 or 3 other actresses I would put in front of her. Just for me personally, I definitely think she's up there. But when I look at all of the films she's been in, and then I remember back to my time through my life seeing them, I don't remember her. I don't remember. I still remember seeing a lot of her in all of those roles. And I really love it when actors get versatile. You can always have a bit of yourself in the role, but I saw too much of her in every role she played, and it wasn't enough to change my mind. So I'm going to have to go nay on that one.
I know where you sleep, Johnny.
That's true. I'm about 20
you.
feet from you, so,
Yeah.
Maybe 30. So it's all right. Come on in. We'll have a party. Okay. I would like to throw one up there. I'm just going to go ahead and throw Vivien Leigh up there. I think I've heard her name mentioned multiple times from multiple people. I think even if I was just going to base it off of, God, dude, even if I just based it off her performance in Streetcar Named Desire and nothing else, I think you could make a strong case for it. But I'm going to throw Vivien Leigh up there. I think that when you talk about the golden age, I mean, see, Elizabeth Taylor is another person we didn't mention, but if you've ever seen Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf, that performance,
oh my God,
it's
so
seared.
good.
Oh my God, it's just seared into your memory. Like I don't even remember any of the other actors in that movie. I don't remember their faces, but I remember her, and I remember all of her, not all of her lines, but I remember her scenes and just how she just graced the film. And God, it was awesome. For me though, I'm gonna say Vivien Leigh. If you look at things outside of Gone with the Wind and A Streetcar Named Desire, since she was so long ago, a lot of her stuff has been forgotten. I've personally seen Anna Karenina. I've personally seen, excuse me, what the hell? What was it? Ship of Fools, something like that. So I've seen a fair amount of her work, definitely not as much as somebody like, Jennifer Lawrence or something, but I just always remember her just captivating me in every performance. She always changed it up. I didn't see too much of her in every role she played, and she's always going to go down as one of the most iconic faces of the 30s to 60s when it comes to cinema. So that's my pick.
She also was in the West End production of A Streetcar Named Desire.
Really? No way.
Stage.
Okay. Dope.
Yeah.
That's
So
in
she
London,
was doing.
Johnny.
She was on stage as well as in film.
Awesome. And I love that she's able to jump between those media outlets. Like, that's fantastic, that because they're so different in how you perform them. One, you can have 20 takes to get the scene right, and in the other one you get one take. And if you fuck up, that sucks. You got to keep rolling with it because it's a live performance. So Kaci, what about you? Where do you think Vivien Leigh? Are you cool with that, or you say nay?
Yeah. No, I'm into it.
Me too.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm a yes.
Well, we got 3 yays. Gary, how about you?
Well, Johnny, as you know, I've always said if it's good enough for Laurence Olivier, it's good enough for me. And
damn it.
for I'll be a yay on that.
Okay. All right. Okay, so that's our Mount Rushmore +1. We did it, everybody. We did it.
Woo!
We've got Kate Blanchett, Viola Davis, Katharine Hepburn, Meryl Streep, and Vivien Leigh as the 5 greatest actresses of all time. Obviously, this could change at a moment's notice, and we will definitely be addressing this again in future episodes. But unfortunately, guys, we are all out of time for tonight. I want to thank both of you so much for coming on. Before we go, though, we do play a little fun game for our listeners every week. We let our guests or anybody on the panel give a recommendation for everybody to watch for the week. It could be a TV show or a movie, something maybe you recently watched, preferably something that has to do with the topic of that week's episode. So I'll give you guys a minute to think about.
Oh, I've got it.
You do?
Oh, wow. Okay.
Go ahead and go right now. Go ahead, by all means.
Yeah,
What's your recommendation?
while y'all are thinking, okay, so definitely watch the film Being the Ricardos. It's on Amazon Prime,
okay,
as well as in theaters. So if you have an Amazon Prime membership, you can watch it. It almost feels like it's the beginning of a series, but it's a film, and it's all about. It's pretty amazing. It's Nicole Kidman playing Lucille Ball,
awesome.
And you'd think that might be an incongruous match, because I'd say that Nicole Kidman doesn't have the same sort of comedy chops as Lucille Ball. But what this film does is it shows Lucille Ball's sharpness behind the scenes of creating the iconic show I Love Lucy. And so you get to see Nicole Kidman sort of playing in the waters of this like woman in an era where women were not making, were not producing work at this level. It's so good. It's really good. And I was a little skeptical going into it. I had heard different things. People were like, Nicole Kidman can't play Lucille Ball. It's impossible. It's quite good. Yeah. And it's sort of interesting to make you think about like actresses, great actresses. What is greatness? All those things came to mind. So it seems really perfect to me, fitting with the episode today.
Yeah. Very topical for sure. All right. Good pick. Good pick. Kim, how about you?
Okay. So it has to pertain to these 5 top actresses.
No. It can be any mini movie like you want.
Yeah. Or, okay. Well, lately I've been watching, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I'm so tired. It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, the new season. It's hilarious. You guys should watch it. Everybody should watch it. They went on hiatus and then they started back up again and they literally are killing it. They're just as much as before.
You want to talk about one of the greatest, you want to talk about great comedic actresses? Caitlin Olsen doesn't get as much. She doesn't get enough credit.
She doesn't. She's so good.
Yeah, I love Dee. God, it's fucking awesome. That's right. Gary, how about you?
Mine is going to be a Katharine Hepburn film, 1968's The Lion in Winter.
Nice.
It's a wonderful period piece. So if you like period pieces, this is for you.
I do.
Katharine Hepburn gets to play one of her, I think, more iconic roles. She gets to play Eleanor of Aquitaine, which is a powerful, noble lady who was married to King Henry II. And it's about the palace intrigue that goes on there. It's sort of, I don't want to say Game of Thronesy, but I'll say Game of Thronesy for the 1960s. But it's a great movie to watch, and I highly recommend it. A lot of good performances. You have Peter O'Toole, Anthony Hopkins, Timothy Dalton, a little bitty kid. Not a little kid, he's like 20, but great movie.
Perfect. That's all good picks, all solid. I don't normally recommend a lot of black and whites. A lot of movies before that were around before Technicolor came out. And so I'd like to pay a little, especially with tonight's episode, because we were talking a lot about actresses from the golden era of Hollywood. So I'm going to just recommend 2, and you've definitely heard me talk about them. If you want to see a masterclass in acting, especially inside almost the psychotic mind of a human, then you need to take a look at obviously Vivian Leigh in A Streetcar Named Desire as Blanche Dubois, and then Elizabeth Taylor in Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf.
Yes.
We talked about both of those. Yeah, we were talking about both those being haunting. Both of those roles are. They're still when I was in conservatory and we were sitting through acting class and we were sitting through film history, those 2 movies and in particular specific scenes were always shown every semester, and there's a reason for it, because they truly embody the psychotic nature of the human psyche that a lot of people will hopefully never get to in their real life. But it's always fun to imagine how it might go if somebody actually went off the deep end like that. So 2 very fantastic roles. So those would be my recommendations for this week.
And plus, those are based on works by great American playwrights, Edward Albee and Tennessee Williams.
Yeah.
So it's like you get a double.
Oh God,
a double history intake.
That's right. Guys, we want to thank both of you so much for coming on tonight's episode. We had a lot of fun.
Yes, thank you so much
for having me. That was fun.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that was great.
Yeah, hopefully we get to do it again. Mush right now.
Yeah, I'm just picturing all these people's faces. They're gonna haunt me. I have nightmares where these actresses are like, "Why didn't you pick me? Did you forget about me?"
Oh God, you're gonna just haunt your dreams tonight, I'm sure. Hopefully they don't. Hopefully you fall asleep to not nightmares. That would be ideal. So once again, we definitely will have you guys back on. So everybody listening, check out Kim Watson, Kaci Beeler. We'll go ahead and link any upcoming projects or acting profiles that you guys have through Instagram or IMDb whenever this episode airs. So we will definitely be having that for folks. So from all of us here at I Don't Give a Flick, I'm Johnny.
I'm Gary.
And I'm the ghost of Neil O'Reilly. And we'll see you guys next week. Stay classy.
Thank you for tuning in to Lead Feather Productions' podcast of I Don't Give a Flick. Make sure to subscribe to our podcast so that you never miss an episode. Podcasts are available on Apple, Spotify, Google Podcasts, YouTube, and everywhere podcasts are hosted. I Don't Give a Flick is hosted and produced by Johnny Blackburn, Gary Elmore, and Neil Riley. Executive producer, Johnny Blackburn. Technical director, editor, and audio mixer, Gary Elmore. I Don't Give a Flick is a Lead Feather production. Copyright Lead Feather Productions 2021.